Hi there, Jerry Gagne, and this is the something new we started a couple of weeks ago. 15 minutes with Jerry. We don't take questions in these 15 minutes, but heck, if you want to send a question in, we'll have it for the show, which starts the regular show, which starts at 3 o'clock. And really, part of the reason we are doing this 15 minutes early um, is to give me a little bit of time to expound on something maybe, but also to make sure we're up and running before our regular time at 3. I was talking to Veronica just before we went on the air. 2 shows ago, we were at 90,000. Last week, we were at 65,000 views. That's a tremendous amount. I know that during the summer, our business slows down, and I'm sure response to this show will slow down a little bit before um, vacations and all of that start. Okay, what I thought I'd do is start out with some questions, and these questions are sent to me via email to my home, and I try to respond as quick as possible. Sometimes I'll call the folks, and sometimes I'll email their reply. So if you do have questions um, during the week, or you can't get them on Facebook, or the timing's not right, my email address, and you may want to get something to write on. Veronica, it's in the catalog, isn't it? My personal email address. Okay, it's in the beginning of the catalog, but my address is just Jerry Gagne. That's JerryGagne at foyspetsupplies.com. That'll go right to my house, right to my home computer, and you won't have to wait a week. I'll get the answer to you. And this is an example. I had a gentleman write me. His name is Absalom. And the question is, would you put breeders in boxes with wooden fronts that when you put the boxes with the wooden fronts, how do you feed and water them? And good question. What some people have done, because we're talking about the nest fronts that have dowels coming and nothing straight across, a lot of people figured out a different way to put a piece of wire and then they hang the cups on the inside. My recommendation, if you've got a standard or a heavy duty larger nest box, whether it's yours or whether one that came from us, when it comes to feeding, this is our floor feeder. It's called a Spanish floor feeder. And it's so simple. You actually we have it with 2 sections and 3. The 2 section, it sits right on the floor. Birds can't knock it down. And you could put grit on this side and feed on this side. It's completely separated, so what feed is on this side, the grit won't move itself over. Really handy. It's got a little, we call them leg, so that it's off the floor a little bit to keep it from setting in the dampness. Foys to my knowledge, is the only company in the United States that sells this 2-hole floor feeder. When it comes to water, this is what I use. So simple. There again, holds 1.5 quarts of water. With this small opening, you'll find it stays much cleaner than what you might expect in the confines of a nest box or in a breeding cage or something. And when I first got it, I used to try to figure out how to open it, and because it was hard. I emailed the manufacturer. This comes out of Spain, and I suppose he called me a dummy, but he said he sent me a little bit of a video. You put your fingers here and it pulls right up. Put your fingers here and it pulls right up. So, 1.5 gallons of water, set it in the corner, and they'll have plenty of water. Don't have to change it every day unless you want to, because it stays so clean. But it's always a good idea to change the water, but there are going to be times maybe you can't. So that's the answer to that question. Now we'll go to another question. As I say, I get questions all the time. This one's a little bit longer, the question is, and I'm not the best of readers. I can read, but quietly. I have mookies. I have a bird that's at least 8 months old, and I'm trying to determine its sex. I have had it in with known hens and have watched it, and it seems it seems to, if tread or mounted a few, it mounted a few hens. Tells me it's a male, but when I put it in with the cocks, they chase it relentlessly and show no interest in them. My question is, will it ever mount another hen? When when it's in with known hens, it acts like a and dances like a cock, but when it's in with the cockbirds, it's chased around continually. Well, the easy answer is the bird at 8 months of age is still a little young. Some birds do mature quicker, just like people. So 8 months of age, you give it another 3 or 4 weeks, and I think you'll find a big difference. And it's in my opinion, there's no doubt it's a cockbird. And when you put it in with others, when you put a new cockbird in with other cocks, strange to it, those cocks will attack it. It will take a day or two. Generally speaking, it's not harmful. It's just like chickens who have a pecking order. Well, all of these new cocks, when you put a new bird in there, if it's a cock, it's going to chase it all around. If it's a hen, it's going to try to mount it right away. So in answer to your question, I would think 90% of the answer is it is a cock, and you give it another 3 or 4 weeks, and it certainly will show even more as a cock, and probably made up fairly quickly. If you do have questions, like I know we have one, all you have to do is Facebook the question. Is that right, Veronica? Facebook the questions to Foys. And how did I do that? Just Foys on Facebook? Okay. And if you have a question, we won't answer them during this show, but we will answer them starting at 3 o'clock and throughout the show. So Joe was asking about a particular feed or a nest bowl. We'll get to that after I get done with my 15 minutes. Another question, and I really enjoy these, and I keep all of these questions, and they go in a tip book, which we'll talk a little bit about. We really haven't had a lot of time to do that. All right, here's a question. How many doses is the 214 Lesotho, how many doses does it make? And I couldn't answer that question. I did respond, and I basically said the directions for dosage depends on how you want to use it. Directions are on the site and in the catalog. If it doesn't work, just give me a call, and I gave her my phone number. The reason I couldn't give the dosage is there's 2 or 3 different ways that you can use it. Some people want to put a drop down each nostril. Some people want to put a drop in the throat. Some people want to put the whole bottle into a gallon of water. All of those are dosages, but the important thing is if you go onto our site, or if you have our catalog, and if you don't, call Foys and they'll send you one. It's free. But if you go into our catalog, it's there. So those are a couple of those questions that came into me this week. Gina is going to be joining us in a couple of minutes. If you'd like to, Gina. I'm just going to block out my whole screen of how people can't see me. Anyway, there's a little book. I'm glad you stopped in, Gina. There's a book called Pigeons, Tips, and Tricks. I have written this, and it grows continually. And if you'd like it available, it is not in our catalog, but we would be glad to send you a copy. If you could only see what I can see, folks, Gina is joining us, but she has to climb over a desk to get to me. So anyway, Pigeon Tips and Tricks. And I just read the first page of this before we went on the air, and there's just some information in here, and I forgot it. A lot of people get confused with a disease called paratyphoid, which is a bacterial infection, and PMV1, which is a virus. The reason they get sometimes confused and mixed up is both PMV and paratyphoid will show similar symptoms, and that's with the twisting of the neck, walking in the circles, banging against the wall because they can't fly in a direction that they choose because they have no control. It's affected their brain. But here's a little tip, and you can tell the difference between the two diseases. PMV symptoms will increase with severity when stressed or excited. Paratyphoid symptoms will not be affected by stress or excitement. So it's so simple. If you walk into your loft and you've got this disease, you don't know which one it is, but you know you got one or the other, just gently walk up to the bird or pick it up. And if it gets all excited and it gets worse, well, then you know you have got PMV. You try to pick it up and it goes crazy, PMV. If you walk over and try to pick it up and it doesn't do anything different and allows you to pick it up, then you've got paratyphoid. Now that's a heck of a tip. A lot of people, I even forget, I haven't read this for a while. Sometimes when people call and ask me, I don't mention this. Canker. Canker is almost like a cheese, a yellowish cheese, a soft cheese in their throat. It's important to with canker, because canker has been around as long as pigeons have been around, that you rotate your drugs when treating them, and that's in this tip book. The reason for that is ronidazole is the most well-known drug for treating canker, but it's been around for a long time. So if you don't rotate, the birds could develop a resistance right away if you chose any other drugs, especially ronidazole. So my suggestions in your medicine cabinet, so to speak, which is something I have. If you have a old medicine cabinet, go buy a cheap one. It's nice to hang it in the lock and put your medicines in there. But with the canker, it's good to have two. It can be metronidazole. We have the equivalent to Emtrol. We all remember that. Ronidazole. There's, I think, 4 different ones. Trichocetes by Dr. Pigeon is another one. But if you buy 2, it's good to, you should do that and rotate them. You would follow the directions, but remember, after you treat with any medication, and ronidazole is one, include probiotics in their drinking water. Another one here on page, the first page I picked out was E. coli. E. coli is in almost all living things. Humans, pigeons, pigs, cows, chickens, they all can get E. coli. The good news is if you have the medication that treats paratyphoid, then you've also got the medicine that treats E. coli. They both respond to the same medication. One of the funny things about E. coli is if you get it a bad case, it will stiffen the joints. And sometimes that can be misleading because paratyphoid, sometimes they can't bend their elbow or their wing, and if you think you've got paratyphoid, it could be E. coli. So I've already gone over my 15 minutes, and the girls are giving me funny looks, and I had another 10 or 15 minutes I could have done. But we'll get back to it next week. We'll see you. That's 15 minutes with Cherry. And if you want to get in touch with us, join us. Gina's going to join me right now. Are we ready to go? We're not even going to go blank or anything. We're just going to go, well, welcome, Gina.
Thank you.
She took a little longer because she was putting on her makeup and combing her hair, brushing her teeth, and things like that.
I have a hair and makeup crew out there. Just kidding.
All right.
Welcome to Foys on Facebook. Today is Friday, May 3rd. In case anybody wants to know, tomorrow is Kim's birthday, so you can call and wish her a happy birthday.
And she's going to be 35?
35.
Yeah, I thought I was 36 myself.
Yes,
right.
35.
Well, happy birthday, Kim, from us.
Kim, who is the president of Foys, if you didn't know. Anyways, he's a little long-winded sometimes. We was trying to get him to stop talking, but he was ignoring us. So today's topic, we got a couple different things we're going to talk about, but our main topic is talking about juniors, trying to get the young kids involved in pigeons and try to stay involved in the pigeon hobby to help it grow. So we have a little kit we put together for the juniors. We'll be talking about that. And if you have any questions about it, about anything about pigeons, feel free to ask right on Facebook.
It's interesting. We have a question already.
We
take
do.
That and not specifically about. But anyway.
Right. And any question it doesn't have to be what we're talking about. Ask us if we have time. Usually we do. We'll answer it live on the air.
And if you can keep it fairly short, why not share with us the way you started with pigeons when you were young as a kid? So many of us basically have the same story, but there are some different stories out there too as to how, like, and I won't go into it with me, we had absolutely no history of pigeons. Nobody could figure out why the heck my brother and I fell in love with pigeons. My father never had pigeons. My brother never had pigeons. But here we are 60 years later.
Still in pigeons.
Yep.
And you own the company that you previously bought your pigeon supplies
Yes.
from.
Yep.
So never give up on your dream. Our first question is from Joe. He said, is it available to ship heavy nest bulls to Melbourne, Australia? And that leads into a topic that I wanted to discuss. It is possible to ship them to Australia, but it's going to be very expensive to ship them.
I think the word should have been practical.
Oh, is it practical to ship them?
I'm just saying probably is what he means.
Right. We can ship them. It's going to be very expensive. I don't know the exact price of shipping right now. You'd have to give us a call or send us the information, but it's possible.
There is a clay plastic bowl that's similar, but a heck of a lot lighter.
Right.
I've used them both.
So, talking about shipping costs, some stuff is very expensive to ship. We ship through the post office, UPS, and FedEx. We don't determine the shipping. It's determined by
The size of the box.
weight, size, and distance. So if you're ordering something big or heavy from us and you live in California, Texas, it's going to be expensive to ship. If it's something that fits in a flat rate box, which if you're familiar with the sizes of those, the small flat rate is very small. It don't fit a lot of stuff in it. But shipping can be pricey if you order bulky stuff. And it may not be heavy, but it's bulky. So it goes by size, weight, size, and distance. So keep that in mind.
An example would be the shipping boxes.
Right.
When we ship them, they have to be shipped flat. And some of the boxes were over
Very
5
large.
feet long, 4 feet long.
Right.
Very expensive to ship because not that they're heavy, it's their size.
Right. And some of the drinkers, they're lightweight, but they are bulky. So that's what the shipping is determined by.
What you might think about is if you have a friend or two who are in close proximity, get together and maybe place one order because in combining products together, the per item shipping goes down dramatically. Or if you belong to a club, a racing club, and it certainly has happened to us, maybe somebody at the club says, hey, I'm ordering from Foys, anybody need anything? And if you get together that way and share the expense, it goes down dramatically.
Yep. So we're going to start with the question. Kiera's bunny ears. My daughter does not want to race. She's too worried to lose her birds, but would rather participate in shows. Can you show any type of pigeons and any good resources on what the standards are?
Great question. And I think that that would be a girl, would it not be?
My daughter.
Oh, my daughter. I was looking at her first. Yeah, duh. But showing is a lot of fun because it involves something kids love to do, and that's take a little trip, a long trip. So they get a lot of fun there. If they go, in talking about pigeons, if you go to a show, those kids are going to meet other kids who have the same interest in pigeons, so that's a bonus too. And then at all shows, they have a junior division where they're shown as juniors, and they're not up to that stiff competition when they go up against the grizzled, 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 inside joke, when they go up against the grizzled old timers that will win at that level. So it gives the children an opportunity, the kids, to enjoy the social part of the show enjoy the excitement of showing their birds and learning how to prepare. You just don't go into a loft and pick out a bird and go show it. I suppose you can do it, but the feet have to be clean, the feathers have to be clean. You have to try and teach the bird, and you can do it easily, spend some time with it, with a judging stick, to allow that bird to get used to being into a small cage. So it's a little bit of that to it, but it's so much easier. In racing, sure, Dad, you probably, assuming it's a dad, am I assuming it could be a lady, mother sending it in? Okay. Am I being chauvinistic?
Go ahead,
Carry
on.
But racing is, number one, very expensive. If you want to get into racing pigeons, you've got an expense between $1,500 and $2,000, depending on the equipment. Just the electronic clock and the chip rings that they put on the bird's legs for a race will pass $1,500, and that's not counting the cost of the birds, the feeders, the drinkers, and all of that. So if it were me, I would certainly suggest that you take the road to showing birds, shows all over the country. As to what kind of bird to show, that's one of the advantages too, is go to a show and gives them the opportunity to not only look at pictures, but to see the birds live. There's some birds as small as this and birds as big as that. This is the front cover of the National Pigeon Association quarterly magazine, and that's just a few pigeons, a few varieties. There are literally in the United States hundreds of different kinds of pigeons. Some are more docile than the others. Some have nicer feathers. Some are bigger. We'll be showing fantail a little later, and we're going to show you an English trumpeter a little later at the auctions after our show, and you'll see some differences there. But if she wants to show and fly, she can do that too. There's flying tipplers, there's flying rollers, there's show rollers, and there's show tipplers. So it's just a matter of what you feel comfortable with. And I'd love to talk to her and listen to the show through the whole show. We're going to be talking about a new junior program in the future, and we're going to talk about this kit, and I'm going to make it very affordable to you for the junior.
So to answer your question,
did I not answer it?
Can you show any type of pigeon? That would be yes.
No.
No.
The answer, and I apologize. You can show all varieties of pigeons with no limitation. The only thing you can't show is birds that are common street pigeons that you see flying around barns and on barns, garages. What am I trying to think of? Railroad trestles and bridges. So the other thing is the bird must be banded. So if you get into the hobby, or you should be ready when you start raising some young ones to put the bird's band on so they know what year it was born. If it was born this year, 2019, until the show season ends, 2019 birds are young birds. And everything at 2018 and back are all considered old birds. You can have a bird born January 1st, and by the time you show it next winter, it's already a year old, but it's still considered a young bird. So the answer to the question is there are standards. There's a hardback book called NPA Standards. You can order that. It's pricey. It's all in color with hundreds of pictures of pigeons. It's available from Foys. And if not, you can always go online and type in the names of different breeds, which you'll find in the quarterly magazine. There's also something called a purebred magazine, which is independent, but a great magazine also. If you need the contact information, give us a call. We'll be glad to send you the NPA and purebred's address also.
And when he was talking about the bands, you can't band it with any band to show your birds.
You can band with NPA, National Pigeon Association, IF, International Federation, which is racing owners, AU, American Racing Pigeon Union, Racing Pigeons uh, club organization, and IPB, which is accepted as the Independent Pigeon Breeders Association.
You can show with those?
You can show with those, yes you can.
Oh.
But you've got to get the bands before the babies are born, or as soon as they're born, because they have to be banded at roughly 7 or 8 days of age. If not, it makes it a lot more difficult because they grow so fast. Okay.
Okay, you can take that one
I
now.
think I answered that one, didn't I?
I think
With a
so.
little bit of coaching.
And if you have any questions, you can always call us. Our number is 724-843-6889. Forgot the number.
It's called a brain disturbance.
Yes, have a lot of those.
If you have a question, get them to us on Facebook. Send them right to us, and you'll have the advantage of, if you have a question, we'll answer it right now.
Right now.
If you do have a question on pigeons' health, mentioned it before, everybody that works for us is trained. Most of us have been here for years. The only one you don't want to ask for is Veronica, because Veronica can't answer. Can you answer health questions on pigeons, V? But if you've got a problem with your computers, she could probably help you. But you can call Foys, and in a lot of instances, if they can't answer it, or they can answer it and answer it correctly, but because they're a female, you don't believe them, right? It does happen.
Absolutely.
They'll give you my home phone number, and I'll give it to you right now if you want. Now understand, I normally don't answer the questions. I don't answer the phone until after till up to 5 o'clock. I get calls at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I get calls on Saturday and Sunday, and in most cases, I will not answer the phone. It's got to have a little bit of downtime. So my home phone is 724-359-5355. And you cannot leave a message, and that's intentional. You'll get some gobbledygook there. It says type in your ID number or something. Mm-hmm. Pay no attention. Don't leave a message. As soon as that rings, it says caller ID. When I get home, I'll answer if I'm home or at the proper time frame. But if not, then if I decide to call you in the evening, that's possible. I might just have some time. I've called people on Saturday and Sunday, but it has to be my choice, not yours.
So he's available at home from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Earl's listening to us. Earl Gates. I'm pretty sure Earl bought pigeons from me, if I remember. I think he did. Okay. Do we want to answer the question, or
he's just telling you how I got into pigeons. He said, as a youngster, I got to very occasionally visit my brother's friend that had a few hundred pigeons. I was fascinated. Our father, who's a farmer, frowned on pets that were worthless. No immediate value for food, etc. I never even asked. I assumed he'd think I'd gone crazy. Now I'm retired, no breaks. Nobody says no.
I think I talked to him.
Yeah.
So basically, he wasn't able to keep pigeons as a youngster.
Right.
But he never forgot that fascination, which is one of those things I've talked about before. Don't understand why I like pigeons. Like I said, there's no background in my life. Nobody's ever had pigeons in my family. Here I am with pigeons and still like them and don't mind cleaning coops and all of that kind of stuff, and enjoy talking to people who have pigeons.
So now we're going to talk about the Foys Junior Helper Kit. We just came up with this. Well, actually, Veronica came up with it.
She did.
She sure did. We were talking about how to get young kids involved with pigeons and try to keep them involved. And this is just something we're just starting. There's more to come, as Jerry said, that we'll announce on the next show. So stay tuned. And
yep. If you can remember the Boy Scouts and what they used to do, we're going to try to go back to that. And that, if I said enough?
Yes.
That's okay. Going to be great, though, especially for kids.
Right.
And if the kids have not seen the show, and they love pigeons, and maybe you know this, it's on our website. Every show we've ever done. So they can sit down and watch the show for a half an hour and no commercials.
And it's on YouTube also.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the little kids now just go on their parents' phone or go on their iPad and just go straight to YouTube and watch videos and
boggles my mind.
yeah. So anyways, the kit it's Veronica has it posted. It's going to be a small, what we call as Orion's basket, the small water bulb, a whistle, some bands, some show cage cups, and the pigeon crossing sign, and and a sample bag of feed. So it retails at $48.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to give it to you for $35, and that includes shipping. So you get everything we mentioned, everything that's shown, plus the shipping for $35.
Is that included?
What?
The green thing?
Yeah,
okay.
it's online. She has it posted.
Okay.
So if you have any questions about that, give us a call.
Can I handle them and maybe talk about each one?
Yes.
Okay. This is a water bulb. We sell them in two sizes, a small one and a large one. What this is for is when you get sick pigeons, they often become dehydrated. And that dehydration, just like people, causes some serious health issues in itself. So if you have a pigeon that's a little dumpy or is not eating and drinking, what you can do with this is you squeeze it, put it in the medicated water, because sometimes it's hard to get them to drink. So you open their beak, put it down their mouth, squeeze it, and they're going to get a drink and they're going to get medications at the same time. So it comes in two sizes. That's part of the kit. This is a whistle. This is a lanyard. Did you know that?
I did know
you
that.
did. Oh, okay. Sound like that, of course. But and she's holding her ear. She knows what I'm going to do, and I promise. After I blow on this, I'm going to take it home, so you don't have to worry about getting one. But I talked about this before. In training your pigeons, I use this every time I walk into. Now, I shouldn't say I use it now. I trained all my birds already. But what you do is you blow this whistle, and you can do it once or twice or anything like that. Every time you feed your birds, you blow the whistle. They relate the sound to eating. And when your birds are out flying, if you do this and train them from, I won't do it again.
Okay.
How's that? That wasn't so bad. So with this, you'll train your birds. When they're out flying and you blow it, they're going to hear that, because that sound can carry a long way. They're going to come in and you have control over the birds. But of course, it doesn't matter if they're not hungry. So when you fly your bird, they have to be hungry. Blow the whistle, they learn to come in. These are coop cups, these will fit on cages. Almost any cage, you go this way and turn that way. They fit our feeder cages, don't they? Our breeder units? Doesn't matter. But one's for feed, one's for water. But we are talking about Junior's question from a customer who wanted to know. I know he wanted to know about his nest runs. I didn't mention these, but if you go to a show, they're made to fit at the show. You can, or if you have a sick bay cage, you can put these on, one feed, one water. We are going to send you an assortment of snap-on bands, different colors. In this particular case, we have, let's say you have a gray on the male and a green on the female. You can do it any way you want, but now you've got the gray, but you don't know which one of those females is mated to which one of the males. So what you do is you double band them. If you put a green, which is the male, is that what I said the first time? It doesn't really matter, however you do it. And you put a purple. And then on the other bird that's mated to it, you put the gray and put a purple. So now, any bird that you see green is a male. If it's got a purple band on it, it's mated to the male, the other sex, and the purple tells you it's a pair. So that's a little bit of an idea of how to do it, and it makes it so much easier because I raise white pigeons as well as others, and them white ones are tough to sex. So what I do is every time I see a male cooing in the nest or chasing a female around, I catch them and mark them so I know which is the pair and which is not the pair. This is just a fun thing. Put it in your room. But ask your parents. You don't want to pound a hole in the wall. But anyway, you put it in your room. You put it on your loft. You can put it on a mailbox post, I suppose, if you want it. But it's a pigeon crossing. It's a cute little thing, and we're going to send one of those to you.
You can take it to school for a school project?
Yep. In fact, a lady called me and told me her daughter was, I think it was a daughter or a child, I don't remember now, but actually made a presentation, a speech to the class, and it was on pigeons. Then also, we're going to throw this book in. Now, this book was written for people who are in the white dove release business. You've heard me talk about it before, but it also could be called Pigeons for Dummies. I wrote the book a number of years ago, but what's great about it is it talks in plain old English, no long words, but it talks about the basics. Pigeons lay 2 eggs. Takes about 17 or 18 days to hatch. Talks about perches and bands and mating, training. So it's a good little booklet to have. That's part of the kit. And also a sample of feed. Now this, which one is this? This is European Spring?
No, that's a Versalaga feed.
Okay. It's a Versalaga misgrained feed. To me, it looks like the conditioner, but I'm not sure. But we're going to send you a sample of this, just so you get an idea when you go to your local feed store, kind of what you're looking for if they carry feed. This is the kind of feed you can feed year-round. You don't have to change. We sell it. It's available from us, but you can also check your local feed stores because shipping feed is very expensive. So you've got a sample of what you're looking for. All of this normally would retail at somewhere around how much, Gina? 48?
48.
$48.
You
We're
put
gonna.
that in, so it's a little more.
Pardon? Oh yeah, and the basket.
Yes.
Should I show the basket? Oh, they see it. And if you notice, there's a green basket. So we're going to send that to you for $35. We pay the shipping. We're doing everything we can to encourage you, to encourage the child. If they're already interested, help them out. And if they're not interested, maybe showing the book, taking them to a show. The best way, take them to a show, or if there's somebody in your area that has pigeons, maybe you can take them there. If you want to call me at home, I'll do my very best to find somebody in your town or close to your town that has pigeons. You might want to take the family or the kids out to see what a pigeon, a fancy pigeon, looks like. $35, heck of a deal.
We got a couple questions. We're going to go to a question now.
How do they order the kit?
Oh,
I'm sorry, I don't know
okay.
myself.
You're right. You can either call us on the phone and order it, or you can order it on the website. It's not on there yet, but it will be by Monday. So you can give us a call here at Foys or order it online starting Monday.
And when you call 724-843-6889, we'll send you the kit free of charge. If you don't have one of our kits, I'm sorry, $35 free of charge. It's a catalog also. If you do not have a catalog, we have one here. We had one. I had one here somewhere. We'll send you the catalog with the kit if you ask. Lots of pictures of birds in here too.
And lots of good information.
724-843-6889. Okay. I'll make this neat and you'll take the question.
Okay, so Tiffany, she's saying how she got into pigeons. She helped a man who had pigeons when she was little. When she moved back home a few years ago, she said she'd like some. She's now in her second full year and still learning a lot.
And you'll never stop learning.
Yeah.
I learned from you folks, because when you send in your questions and I don't know the answer, I have to do some research. And thank goodness I have a rather large library of pigeon books and pigeon health. But you help me help other people. So if you have a question.
Steven, if you could get a racer starter kit, that would be great. My nephew would love it.
Well, there's nothing here, Steve, that doesn't relate to racing pigeons. All the needs are the same, whether it's fancy pigeons or whether it's show pigeons. Even the book was that's a white racing homer. So this book would be very valuable if the young man doesn't have pigeons. So I don't personally see a need for a kit specifically for racing pigeons because everything that's in this kit would apply to racing pigeons. But thank you very much. Get your nephew involved. Probably already is if you have pigeons, and it appears as though you have racing homers. Um, if you if your nephew's out of town, I might be able to find somebody in his area that has pigeons. I'm looking up there, and I should be looking here. That's my first show.
I know, you can't help it. Oh, something we forgot to mention with the kit also. We are going to give you a free membership to the NPA.
Oh, that's
if
funny.
you order the kit and you're not already the child, not the parents, the child. The child will get a free membership to the NPA.
They'll get this magazine 4 times a year. That's just chock full of pictures of fancy pigeon clubs to join. So you're going to get that child is going to get a free membership. So if you're interested, there's a pigeon I've never even seen before, kibitz, a black kibitz. So that's probably the most valuable. Most of this, with maybe the exception of a couple of items, will have no value to them 5 years down the road if they're into pigeons. This will give and give and give. They'll get this 4 times a year, might even be 5, but I know it's a quarterly, so sometimes there's an extra issue. But the nicest issue is when they put one out about the Grand National Show and all of the winners and pictures of all the breeds. So this alone is so valuable and so great. If the kids are interested in pigeons, they'll look forward to getting this. And when they don't get it, the NPA will get a call. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah. I had it written down and forgot about it. So when you do call and order this, we're going to ask you some extra questions so we can put it on the membership for the NPA. Okay. Another question. Carlos, how can I find clubs or people who have pigeons near me in Bridgeport, Connecticut?
Call me. That's the name of the song, too. And I don't sing very well. She's the great singer. You ought to get her to sing sometime. Carlos, call me. I've got a magazine that lists almost all of the clubs in the United States. All you have to do is, or you can email me at Jerry Gagne, J-E-R. It's in my catalog and on the website. You can call me or email me, and I'll give you the name of the closest club in your area. It would be a fancy pigeon club, I'm assuming, or I have racing homer clubs, and I also have fancy pigeon clubs. And I have specific breeds. There's a fantail club, and there's a owl club. There's all these different clubs. But if you want one close in your area, I'll find one for you.
And if any of our viewers are from that area, then just respond to his question. And there
by
might be some
contacting me, right?
No, just respond to his question on Facebook. They
Okay.
know, they
Okay.
know what
All
to
right.
do.
I'm old school.
We know. It's okay. So yeah, if any of our viewers are from that area, then go ahead and respond to Carlos. But Carlos, still give Jerry a call. Okay. So
I'm drinking.
my clock is missing.
I was going to mention this. I'm drinking Pepsi. I sent my granddaughter to the restaurant to get us all a drink before the show. This is mine. But what was funny is I said to her, Ashley, I was over at the restaurant yesterday and I walked in and I had a cold beer. I says, and I reached in my pocket and realized I didn't have a penny on me. Well, I'm a regular customer there, so I said to Connie, the waitress, I says, Connie, I says, I don't have a penny on me. I'll take care of it next time I come in. She said, okay, don't worry about it. So I sent Ashley for Pepsi's for Gina and I said, oh, Ashley, also pay for the beer that I drank yesterday. I was there yesterday and didn't have any money. So Ashley comes back. She's got my Pepsi, Coke, and she's got 2 bottles of Pepsi. Guess what else she's got? A bottle of beer. They didn't understand, so they sent me a free bottle of beer. So now I got to go back and pay for 2 beers.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was going to drink that cold beer before the show, and what did you say?
No,
No way,
definitely
Jose.
not.
You think I'm wild and crazy
now? Jeez.
Put a beer or 2 in me. Okay, but we do appreciate your questions, so please send them in. We've got another half hour. One of the segments we didn't use last time was Ask Anything. And it isn't one of Gina's favorite segments because the questions are always about her. But if you want to ask Jerry, Gina, anybody, whether it's Veronica technically about our show, if you want to ask a question about the company, all you have to do is send that question in, and almost all cases we'll answer it. Sometimes we'll giggle, and sometimes we blush, but ask anything. And you've got another almost 25 minutes to do that.
And keep in mind, right after the show, we're going to be doing the auction at 4 o'clock.
I forgot to mention.
And we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But we have 3 different.
Can I just mention the breed?
Go ahead.
We're going to have a pair of some of the best fantails in the United States. American fantails donated by Earl Biederman. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a pair of English trumpeters, solid black English trumpeters, donated by the president of the National Pigeon Association, John DiCarlo Jr. So we've got them. And then we're going to have a pair of Birmingham rollers. One's red and one's red grizzle. So we'll mention it again. But stick around. As soon as this show is over, at 4 o'clock Eastern, we go right into an auction and show you the birds. And excuse me, you can bid now.
Yes, they are online. You can bid now. And the auction ends at 4:15.
Okay.
So now we're going to talk about, feel free to keep asking questions as we're talking, but we got some products back in stock that have been out of stock for a while. The first one, it's probably been out for about 8 months, which is
elderberry juice.
Yes. And
I wrote some notes about it, and I can't find my notepad. Thank you. Okay.
So the elderberry juice, it's been out of stock for a while. It is for human consumption, and I do drink it on occasion. It's an acquired taste, but you can drink it. And what are you looking for?
I was wondering what state it was made in. Missouri. Okay.
Yeah.
It's an American product, which is few and far between in today's world. Mm-hmm. So it's made at an elderberry farm, and it also can be seasonal. Although the expiration, I don't even know if there is one on here.
It's on the bottom.
It's on the bottom.
2020.
So this one is good until next year, but being seasonal and becoming more and more popular because elderberry juice this is human grade, but used for pigeons and other animals also. What does elderberry juice do? It stimulates the immune system. If you have a strong immune system, if your birds do, then in it being all natural, you've got something natural that you can put into the drinking water that will boost the immune system and help prevent, because we get that question so often, how do you prevent? It's very difficult. The best way is through the drinking water, sometimes sometimes vitamins, sometimes probiotics, all natural products. So one of the things that really got this popular was the fact that it helps prevent the viruses that are out there today. The adenovirus is the most well-known. This is something that can help prevent it. And if it's in your area and you hear about it, beside the suggestion is if you know you've got an adenovirus in your area, don't let anybody into your loft that has an affected loft. And also don't buy any new birds. Don't bring any new birds in until that virus has disappeared. So we've got something also that will help stimulate the immune system and help fight off any of the viruses. It'll help with respiratory issues. And also, in the state of California right now, the southern part, I don't know where the line is, the southern part of California is going through a bird flu breakout. We cannot, nobody can ship pigeons into Southern California. Nobody can ship pigeons out of California because of this bird flu. So maybe those people are in that area and have not been affected by it at all. This would be a good product to use in Southern California to help prevent the possibility of getting one of the flus that the state has closed down part of it for. Okay, we have another one?
So the next products are going to be some Versalaga products. We've been out of most of those for a while now. We just got a container in last week. So we pretty much got everything back in stock that we were out of, including the Versalaga feed, which we have 6 different types of Versalaga feed, including.
And brought in because we discontinued the sale of the Versalaga feed, but we had so many people contacting us, we decided to bring it back. This all of these products come right from Belgium, and Belgium is Mecca when it comes to pigeons. The hobby is stronger in Belgium than anywhere else in the world. So if anybody knows how to make pigeon products, including the feeds and the grits and the supplements, it's going to be a company from Belgium, Versalaga. So these are top-notch products. All right, we're going to talk about something that is very, very popular with us. You know it has to be a good seller when we have it available in 500 size. That's a lot of people have a lot of flocks, and they have these on hand all the time. Its main claim to fame is if a pigeon gets sick, in most cases, it goes light. Going light just means it loses weight. So in talking about the pills, we originally called these no-light pills. Manufacturer is now Versalaga, and they call them ideal pills. We've got them in the 500, and we've got them in the 100. Tell me a little bit about what they do. Did you write it down?
No, but you did.
Oh, I did. Okay. This is handy to give to young birds. It'll make them grow faster and in better health. And being in pill form, it's really easy to give those young ones once they're able to take solid grain. And the way you know that is when a mother or father feeds a baby, you look at the chest after they've been fed, and if you can see the grain, it's old enough to give these. They start out with pigeon milk, but in a very short time, they're regurgitating the grained feed, and the skin on the chest is thin, and you can see right through it. And when you see corn and other grains, it's time to give these. And it's not a medication, it's not an antibiotic. It's a product to help young ones grow healthy, vibrant, with beautiful feathers. One of the things also it does for older birds is increase the appetite, and I think that's where the no light came from. An increased appetite, especially with sick birds, will help them retain body weight. So that's one of the other reasons. And also for the racing pigeon people, or if you've got some birds that you've had on antibiotics, this is a good thing to follow with. It helps with the recuperation of not only birds like race birds that have been on a tough flight, or rollers, or tipplers, but when you come back from the show, it's a good idea to give these for a few days.
Before we go on to the next one, we have a question about what's the lowest number of NPA bands that you can buy. The lowest number for NPA is 10, and they are sold in multiples of 10s.
Okay.
And some of the other bands are 10s and other bands are 20s, depending on which ones you buy.
And they're 60 cents a piece, so 10 would be $6. Mm-hmm. The shipping on all bands that we sell is $4.
No matter how many bands you buy, you can buy 10 You can buy 300. Shipping is $4.
About 1,000,
$4.
10,000.
$4. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay, so the next product, which is very popular also, is the Versalaga Red Pick Pot that Jerry's going to talk about.
The reason we brought these in was certainly by demand, so to speak, but it's a little different than the other pick pots. We sell other brands of pick pots, but this one actually has algae in it. Excuse me. The way it has algae is I wish I could say the word better, spirulina.
Spirulina.
Yeah, and that gives you the algae. And that's packed with vitamins. I grew up in the state of Maine, and we used to eat seaweed that we would pick off the rocks along the ocean. And it's very salty, but it was just packed full of nutrients. You can actually buy it in grocery stores now in little packets. But it's seaweed, and just like she said about elderberry juice, seaweed, or we called it dulse, D-U-L-S-E. It's an acquired taste. Very, very salty, but really good for you. Well, the algae is in here too, that spirulina. It helps develop resistance to disease. So we talk all the time about how to prevent. This is another one. All you do is take this off, and this is kind of hard. You sprinkle a little bit of water on this to loosen it up, and the birds, it's seasonal. You'll see sometimes the birds will devour it, depending on how many birds you got. It'll be gone in a day. That means they need it. Put another one out there. But then in other seasons, they leave it alone. They hardly touch it at all. You don't even have to put it out there. So one of the nice things is this little pot is made out of clay. And when it's gone, you've got a usable pot. You look into our catalog and you'll see how much those clay pots cost. So there's a value there too. All right. Anything else we have to talk about from Versalaga?
No, I mean, pretty much everything from Versalaga we got in. We did get 3 new products from Versalaga, which they're all pellets, right? All 3 are
Yep.
pellets.
Yep. When we're working on a new catalog, they'll be online, but they'll be in a new catalog. But they're supplements. They're pelleted supplements that you use with the feed that you're using. They're in stock. I encourage you to. Are they on yet, Veronica? They'll be on our website as soon as Veronica stops drinking, because she comes in sometimes with a hangover, and Friday's a bad day for her. But she'll get to it eventually. But anyway, we'll get them on there. They're supplements. One of them you add a quarter cup. One of them you're ordering a tablespoon, depending on how much feed you're giving. So they boost the value of your pigeon feed. And we brought them in. We talked to David, who is in charge of Versalaga United States. He convinced us that they're very, very popular in Belgium and Europe and Germany and other China. They even have a store in China. That's how popular some of their Versalaga products are. So look for the supplements, and we've got them in stock right now. Okay, did that. Now, here's what we're going to talk about for the rest of the show. I think you'll find it very, very interesting.
I saw it.
Okay, let's talk about the auctions.
Okay.
I wanted to tell you how excited the NPA Legacy Fund Trust is. I had a trustees meeting this last Tuesday, and we talked about the success of these auctions. We have auctions at pigeon shows too in season, but our auctions are every 2 weeks. We always auction off 3 pair. Every dollar that we take in on those birds, and it averages 400 or more every show. Every dollar goes into the investments by the Legacy Fund Trust. And what we do is we invest that money conservatively. All the earned income that we get from those investments is then made available to sponsor products that pigeon clubs, pigeon people may need. I know that I have a friend in Baltimore who's having some serious issues trying to tell him in his particular location he can't have pigeons. So I suggested he contact the trust. Now, we only write a check once a year, or checks once a year, but you can submit your application. It's on NPA's website, and tell us why you need the money. And then we vote in October and use up every penny to support the hobby. Okay, we're going to
Use
have
up every penny of your
earned income.
Earned income.
Yeah. So that money grows every year. We're proud of the fact that these shows have helped to raise not all of it, but a nice portion of the $72,000 that we've got invested. And the bigger that number gets, the more money we'll have from the earnings to help the hobby grow. Just like we talked about earlier with our junior program that Foys is going to sponsor, we need young people. By helping us out with the auctions, you're helping out young people too. And I mentioned this NPA quarterly magazine that comes out 4 times a year. If your contribution, if you buy the birds at $100, the person who donated those birds gets credit in the quarterly. So if you are interested in donating birds, just call me and I'll tell you exactly how to do it. We always are looking for good quality birds. I don't want just miscellaneous birds that you want to get rid of. We need good quality birds today.
That are banded.
Yeah, that are banded. Thank you. So this week, we have a pair of Indian fantails. They're called Tailmark from Earl Biederman, who's secretary of the Central Fantail Club and known to have some of the best fantails in the United States. And he was kind enough to also tell us genetically which 2 birds to put together. So we're going to show you 2 birds. The auction starts at 4 o'clock. And if you haven't got a bid in, you can do it now. And the auction starts at 3 and it's over at 3:15 on the dot. 4:15, excuse me, Eastern Standard Time. And whoever's got the highest bid at 3:15, because even those 15 minutes we're doing the auction, you can send a bid in. But I caution you, it's happened more than once. They think right around 3:13 they're going to be the last one, so they send the bid in. By the time it gets to it, sometimes it takes more than 2 or 3 minutes. Then they missed out. So it's better to bid early and bid high. The second pair is the black English trumpeters. Once again, John DiCarlo is the president of the NPA. He's a licensed judge, not just in the United States, but pretty much any part of the world. I called him last week. He was down in Mexico judging. So he's given us these pair. You'll notice something different, and I'll show you again at the auction because we'll show you the birds. The muffs, they have long muffs on their legs. They're all cut off. The reason for that is he's not going to show them now until next fall, and it makes them easier to keep them clean without those big long feathers and easier to breed. So don't be concerned if you see the cut off muffs. That's done by an expert for a reason. The third pair is from Foys Loft. It's a pair of Birmingham rollers. It's going to be a pair of one that is solid red, a little bit of white in it, and the mate is a red grizzle. Really attractive pair, and we'll have that. So we'll have 3 pair. They're online right now. Is that right? If you want to see what they look like, just get online and on our website, or on how do you find them? I don't know.
They know.
They know. Tell them anyway.
Go on. That's on Facebook. Each one is posted on a separate post, and you'll bid under the post where you see the pigeons.
And we have bids already on some?
Yes.
Okay.
So
we've already got opening bids,
yeah.
And that starts in about 5 or 6 minutes. And
keep in mind, you do pay for shipping on the birds. If you buy 1 pair, shipping is $60. 2 pair is $80.
And if you look in the catalog, what we charge for shipping, that's subsidized by Foys too. Usually one pair is $80. We dropped it to 60 just to make it more attractive for you. But keep in mind, if you're interested in both pair, the shipping for one pair being 60, for $20 more, you can get two pair from a shipping standpoint. So there's a savings there. And we have had people buy more than one pair. Now, would you want to talk about something specifically?
Yeah. No, I'm still talking.
Okay.
So
Can I mention something?
yes.
Because I don't think about it.
Go ahead.
Guy called me maybe a month ago, and he was talking about, and you'll know what it was, the birds' feathers were gone from their chest. And what causes that? It's a deep blooming mite. It's a bug that chews the feathers at the base, back of the head, and in the chest, and all you see is skin. Well, he called me, and I've done this, and I think I'm going to stop doing it because of just what he did. I said, all you have to do, we sell a good product, but to hasten, just go get a stick your finger in the kerosene and rub it on that area. It'll sink into the skin and kill the deblooming mite. Now, the feathers will take a while to grow back, but they will. Well, in America, if you want to put a teaspoon in of medication in something, a lot of people think, well, if one's good, two's better, right? And you got to follow directions. And I told him what to do. Your finger. He poured it on and killed a number of pigeons because of the kerosene burning on their body. It's sad, but he did it. I got to talking to him, and he said, "Oh man," he said, "I didn't do it that way." He said, "But I do remember you told me." So follow directions. And I just wanted to mention that it's sad, but he thought maybe it was my fault, but he did admit. I said, "Remember, I said stick your finger in and just rub it on that bald area." He put it on the whole bird, and the bird died. Bird died quick.
Okay, so back to the auction. You do pay for shipping. Normally Jerry will ship on the following Tuesday. So after the show today, next Tuesday he'll ship the birds. He usually calls you with the tracking number. If it's bad weather, normally
If it's too hot, or if you're from Southern California, because I had one.
Right. Then they'll ship the following week. But he'll call you with the tracking number. So just make sure we have an updated phone number for you to reach you in case of any problems. Please call us at the latest Monday to pay for the
But
birds
today
that
is
you
so
bid
much
on.
better, so I can plan on the box and all of that.
Right.
And they go through the post office, and they will be delivered to you if I ship on Tuesday. Some places get them on Wednesday. Some people get them on Thursday. They're shipped with no feed and water. Not a problem with that at all. It won't affect the birds at all. So if you're going to order, you can use a credit card. Is that right? Okay. So if you want to use a credit card, just call. But if you're going to buy them now, you know you paid for them. Call the store and pay for them today if you can. Of course, Monday's okay too.
Right. So immediately after the auction, you can call if you'd like. Ask for me. My name's Gina. I'll do the
Like
order.
people don't know that.
Some might not.
Gina, you're more famous than I am.
No, anyways,
Nobody dared to send in and ask us anything.
Anyways,
Go ahead.
After the auction, if you won the auction, we'll announce your name at the end. We'll also post it and call us. Give me a few minutes once it's over, but give us a call and we'll get everything rolling.
Can I squeeze something
Go
in?
ahead.
Apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar. The best you can buy is Bragg. It's human grade. Many manufacturers use it in the drinking water. Makes it acidic. Acidic means that paratyphoid, some diseases are less apt to grow. But I wanted to share something with you. I was looking online for something. Apple cider vinegar. If you got rusty tools, I had rusty screwdrivers, I have rusted pliers. I put them in apple cider vinegar. Overnight, all the rust was gone. I rubbed with a little rag, rubbed it all off, brand new. And I had one pair I couldn't even move. Put them in the apple cider vinegar. So another use for apple cider vinegar. You'd be amazed. You put them in that stuff and it doesn't bubble or anything. Overnight, all of it's gone.
Awesome. All right, so next show is May 17th. We're going to continue right on into the auction, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
Yeah, it would be in a couple of minutes. We have to go to another room.
But we're not going to turn
Don't
off.
go away.
That's good. In our big studio. I know. Where'd my phone go? I'm just going to take it off, Monica. Okay.
Is that white bird in a box or something?
Mhm.
Okay.
We're on.
Okay, I was just, somebody returned a white bird to us today. I was looking for it. Okay, we're going to be, you can just leave it right there. Okay. Thank you. We're going to be talking about the individual birds that we're going to auction off today. You have about 14 minutes. If you haven't made a bid on Facebook, send it in. May I see that? I can just kind of look at it. The fantails, we are at one right there. $175 for the pair of
170.
fantail from Earl Biederman.
170.
Oh, 170. Okay. There they are. Let me move one for you. This is a pair that Earl Biederman put together and suggested we do also. One, the tail is black, and if I'm not mistaken,
They're both black too.
this one is, yeah, there you go. Any questions? But we have a bid from Jay Turner for $170. We urge you to get online, or not online, get on Facebook and send it in. Send your bid in. The trumpeters, here they are here, and we'll show you again. These are a pair of black trumpeters.
This should be up there on the light.
Okay. I don't know whether you can you see them?
Why don't we move them up there?
I'm sorry? Okay.
Move
I'll
them
move
up
them
there.
up. Remember I mentioned that the trumpeters have been trimmed like they're supposed to be. And here's an example of these feathers are usually about this far out. They've been trimmed so that the pair can breed better. Solid black, donated by John DiCarlo, the president of the National Pigeon Association. Mated pair, I've seen them acting together. Gorgeous pair. Look at the crest on that bird. John has some of the best. Beautiful eye. You can see that green. I think you can see it. That it's a reflection of the light. It's not a true green. If I put it in the dark, that would be solid black. So, and they're a nice pair of birds. There you go. A mated pair. I'll open the door for you, Gina.
Thank you.
You don't have much time. You've got about, 10 minutes or so?
Ah.
And if you don't get your bid in before the show is over, then it goes to the bidder. We do have a bid, as I said, the English trumpeters, we have a bid right now from Galen, $120. And I'll tell you what, guys, at the prices you're getting these birds, 170 for the tail marks, 120 for those black English trumpeters, you are getting one heck of a deal. One heck of a deal. In some cases, these birds would not be made available. The only reason we have them available is the relationship that Jay and Galen have with the NPA, with Foys, and your, pardon? NPA? Just, yeah, okay, the contributors. I'm sorry. But anyway, they're great pigeons. They sent us some of the best. Now, you're missing the boat here. These are Birmingham rollers. This bird is a 2016 red grizzle, Birmingham roller from my own loft. make them available. The minimum bid was what on these? Do you remember? What'd she say?
75.
$75. There you go.
Hold it still.
No, I'm sorry. And here's the mate. This bird is a hen, and it is a 2018 bird. So you got an older bird mated to a younger bird. It's red with a little bit of white marking in the wing butts. Pretty pigeon, good rollers. They come from a roller loft. They breed nothing but rollers, Birmingham rollers. So if you're looking for a pair to breed that'll roll and roll, some roll right to the ground, here's an opportunity for you. $75 bid. We'll probably take these home, and we'll get them shipped right to you. Shipped on Tuesday. Okay? You can hear the birds reacting, even the fantail. There you go. If you have a question, we invite you to ask. Oh, it's all right. The UPS driver wants to see the birds. There we go. The American fantail. There you go. So you can pick out the cock right behind it. The white one that's on your, I think that would be on your left. White body, black tail. Raisers some beautiful birds. I advise you not to necessarily buy them to show, you buy them to breed. And here's a pair of English trumpeters. Once again, that cock has been in the show before. See how it's reacting to us being in a cage that cock bird wants to show off? The hen says, so what you bothering me for? Go to Facebook, get your bid in. $170 for the fantail. 110 is it? 120 for the, I'm sorry, 120 for the beautiful pair of trumpeters, and a bid of $75 by you. We'll take these rollers home. You want me to put them up top also?
No.
Give you more sun? Okay. If you have a question, it might be too late, but you can send it in. Can we take a question on Facebook? If you happen to send a question in, we'll be glad to answer it for you. Pardon? Oh, I'll get the birds out to you on Tuesday. You'll have them on Wednesday, Thursday at the very latest. Earl is from Arizona, so keep in mind he donated birds and paid for the shipping to get them to us. The black English trumpeters are right out of California. John DeCarlo sent them to me. Paid for the shipping to get them to us. You pay for the shipping to get them to you. Well, it's a heck of a deal. You'll never see these kind of birds at those kind of prices, with very few exceptions. But here's a man that shows his bird related, a winner everywhere he goes, secretary of the Central American Fantail Club. So you're not going to find anything better. How much time do we have?
7.
7 more minutes. So there's still time if you want to get a bid in. There's still time. I remind you, all the money that we get is being raised to help out the National Pigeon Association Legacy Fund Trust. The Legacy Fund Trust takes your money, invests it, never spends it, invests it very conservatively, and the money that is earned then goes back and made available to help projects that might need funding. We have already helped fund the video that's available from the National Pigeon Association. We've also helped to fund a project that is going to be posters, and the posters will be made available to feed companies and pigeon supply companies across the United States, and those posters will show all kinds of breeds of pigeons and contact information if a farmer or a person walks in, no matter who they are, and sees this picture. They'll get an idea that there's more to pigeons than just the birds that you see on the bridge, the common street pigeons. So we do have some of the greatest pigeons you're going to see in our auction. These are the best birds we've ever seen. Once again, you're looking at the back end. Now, those tail feathers are a little roughed up because they've been in this cage and they have a tendency to do that. But I know they have to be trimmed too for breeding. So there you have beautiful. Okay. They can't, I was just going to say, these birds at some point will be trimmed by you. I didn't tell you the age on these birds. This bird is a 2018. The other one is too, you think? Yeah. Okay, they're both 2018, so they're last year's birds. And for us to get them at this point in the year, you can bet Earl's goal or Earl's plan was to keep these. But in talking to him, he let them go. So he kept them from last year to this period of time because he wanted to keep them for his own purposes. So you've got the opportunity to get some good ones. Once again, black English trumpeters. I swear, every time you take a picture of that guy, he wants to show off a little bit. The hen is in front, the cock is in back. He's a little bit bigger, of course. We've already talked about the year on those, or have we? 18. Okay, they're 18. And the Birmingham rollers from Foys Loft. Flying rollers, not show rollers. And if you already have rollers, make a nice addition. Or if you don't have rollers, it's a good start. Okay, that's pretty much the end of the show. We think 4 more minutes. Can't be. I don't think anybody can bid in 4 minutes, can they?
Yeah,
Veronica says yes, you can. So it's not too late. If you want to get your bid in now, and you're the top bid, we're at 170 for the fantails. Where are we now?
180.
And is that so? Jay, if you're watching, you just got outbid. We're at 180. You got a couple of minutes to get in. $10 increments. Pardon? Oh, they're $10 increments. So if we got a bid at 180, you can get them for 190.
Now it's 190.
Now it is 190, so you still got a minute or two. So at 190, a bid of 200 would probably take the pair. Do we have a bid for the English trumpeters? Our final bid at this point, the English
Trumpeters right now is 120.
The trumpeters right now are 120. And the American fantails, the rollers, we haven't received a bid for. That's a good deal. I think they had eggs. I'll take them back home.
Yes, we did 75.
We got a bid for 75. You'll be pleased with those birds. And I'll ship them out to you on Tuesday. 75, 190, and counting, and 120. So that means that you folks have been able to contribute a total of over $400. We're on a streak, so we've never been below 400, and it's going to continue. At some point, we'll probably, let's see, let's do the math. 190, 290, 310, 385. Somebody bid $10 more. We'll get to 400. So, but I'm real pleased with those numbers and be very proud. By the way, one thing we'll never mention, because we've never mentioned, I'll stop talking about the birds. This is the cage that we advertise in our catalog. It's a 4-level unit. They all come with trays to catch the droppings. There's some healthy droppings, folks. And the doors open, as you can see. Wire 4, the droppings go through. Right here opens, and the water trays, one water tray, one feed tray. They can eat from both sides. So we've got 8 cages on rollers, as you can see. Yeah, and so they're easy to move around. We have these this way. They come in 2 boxes, and we also have the 2-level unit. It's a 2-level. We also have the 2-level unit, which would be this and this. So if you're looking for a great mating cage, it comes with everything you see. It comes with waterer, feeder, and really easy to put together. Thank you very much for watching the show. We thank you for the bidders. So who are the bidders? May I? Pardon?
She's checking.
Okay.
As of right now. Back up.
All right. Right now we have Earl Oates at 190, Galen Garson at 120, and Earl Gates at 75 for the rollers. Hey, Earl, thank you very much for participating. We see your name on a regular basis. Is it officially over?
Time's up.
It's over. Once again, we thank you. I'll get these birds out to you. And if you have the time today, call Gina, give her your credit card information, where I mail them to, or ship them to via UPS or FedEx, and I'll get them out on Tuesday. Thanks again.
Announce the winners. Earl
Okay.
Gates too.
The winners are on right here, right? Earl Gates has got the rollers. Galen has the trumpeters. You'll be proud of them. And Earl got a beautiful pair of the American Fantail. Thanks again. Call us now.